Hi everyone, welcome to Healthify My Life. This is HealthifyCoach Zoraida. Welcome. It got I got a book in my hands, and I want to read it with you, or reread this with some Spanish accent. Okay, I'm not going to give you the title of the book. I will probably put it on the comments or in the description later. But probably you will just know. I will avoid, when I'm reading, I will avoid to explicit name the title, if you allow me to. Okay? Ready? Okay. The History Behind the History by Kenneth Blanchard, PhD. I'm thrilled to be telling you the history behind the history of because it means the book has not been written and is available for all of us to read, enjoy, and share with others. This is something I've wanted to see happen ever since I first heard Spencer Johnson tell his history years ago, before we wrote our book, The 1 Minute Manager, together. I remember thinking then how good the history was and how helpful it would be to me from that moment on. Who is history about change that takes place in a maze, wherefore amusing characters look for She's being metaphor for what we want to have in life, whether it's a job, a relationship, money, a big house, freedom, health, recognition, money, a big house, spiritual peace, or even an activity like jogging or golf. Each of us has our own idea of what cheese is, and we pursue it because we believe it makes us happy. Sorry about my English is so bad. Just try to follow a little bit, okay? If we get it, we often become attached to it. And if we lose it, or it's taken away, it can be traumatic. The maze in the history represents where you spend time looking for what you want. It can be the organization you work in, the community you live in, or the relationships you have in your life. I tell the cheese history that you're about to read in my talks around the world, and often hear later from people about what a difference it has made to them. Believe it or not, this little history has been credited with improving careers, marriages, and lives. One of the many real-life examples comes from Charlie Jones, a well-respected broadcaster from NBC TV, who revealed that hearing the history of saved his career. His job as a broadcaster is unique, but the principles he learned can be used by anyone. So, here is what happened. Charlie had worked hard and had done a great job of broadcasting track and field events at an earlier Olympic Games. So he was first surprised and upset when his boss told him he would be removed from these showcase events for the next Olympics and assigned to swimming and diving. Not knowing these sports well, he was frustrated. He felt unappreciated and he became angry. He said he felt it was unfair. His anger began to affect everything he did. Then he heard the history of After that, he said he laughed at himself and changed his attitude. He realized his boss had just So he adapted. He learned the 2 new sports and in the process found that doing something new made him feel young. It wasn't long before his boss recognized his new attitude and energy, and he soon got better assignments. He went on to enjoy more success than ever and was later inducted into Pro Football's Hall of Fame. Broadcasters Ellie. That's just one of the many real-life histories I've heard about the impact this history has had on people, from their work life to their love life. I'm such a strong believer in the power of that I gave a copy of an early pre-publication edition to everyone. More than 200 people working with our company. Why? Because like every company that wants to not only survive in the future but stay competitive, the Ken Blanchard companies are constantly changing. They keep moving our cheese, while in the past we may have wanted loyal employees. Today we need flexible people who are not possessive about the way things are done around here. And yet, as you know, living in constant white water, with the changes occurring all the time at work or in life, can be stressful. Unless people have a way of looking at change that helps them understand it. Enter the history. When I told people about the history and then they got to read you can almost feel the release of negative energy beginning to occur. Person after person from every department went out of their way to thank me for the book and told me how helpful it had been to them already in seeing the changes going on in our company in a different light. Believe me, this brief parable takes little time to read, but its impact can be profound. As you turn the pages, you will find 3 sections in this book. In the first, a gathering. Former classmates talk at a class reunion after trying to deal with the changes happening in their lives. The second section is the history of which is the core of the book. In the history, you will see that two mice do better when they are faced with change because they keep things simple, while the two little people's complex brains and human emotions complicate things. It is not that mice are smarter. We all know people are more intelligent than mice. However, as you watch what the four characters do and realize both mice and the little people represent parts of ourselves, the simple and the complex, you can see it will be our advantage to do the simple things that work when things change. In the third section, a discussion. People discuss what the history means to them and how they are going to use it in their work and in their lives. Some readers of this book's early manuscript prefer to stop at the end of the story without reading further and interpret its meaning for themselves. Others enjoyed reading a discussion that follows because it stimulates their thinking about how they might apply what they learn to their own situations. Everyone knows that not all change is good or even necessary. But in a world that is constantly changing, it is our advantage to learn how to adapt and enjoy something better. In any case, I hope each time you reread you will find something new and useful in the brief story, as I do, and that it will help you deal with change and bring you success. Wherever you decide success is for you. I hope that you enjoy what you discover, and I wish you well. Remember, move. Okay. A gathering, Chicago. Let's start. One sunny Sunday in Chicago, several former classmates who were good friends in school gathered for lunch, having attended their high school reunion the night before. They wanted to hear more about what was happening in each other's life. After a good deal of kidding and a good meal, they settled into an interesting conversation. Angela, who had been one of the most popular people in the class, said, "Life sure turned out differently than I thought it would when we were in school. A lot has changed." "It certainly has," Nathan echoed. They knew he had gone into his family business, which had operated pretty much the same and had been a part of the local community for as long as they could remember. So they were surprised when he seemed concerned. He asked, "But have you noticed how we don't want to change when things change?" Carlos said, "I guess we resist changing because we are afraid of change." "Carlos, you were captain of the football team," Jessica said. "I never thought I would hear you say anything about being afraid." They all laughed as they realized that although they had gone off in different directions, from working at home to managing companies, they were experiencing similar feelings. Everyone was trying to cope with the unexpected changes that were happening to them in recent years. And most admitted that they did not know a good way to handle them. Then Michael said, "I used to be afraid of change. When a big change came along in our business, we didn't know what to do. So we didn't adjust, and we almost lost it." "That's it," he continued, "until I heard a funny little story that changed everything." "How so?" Nathan asked. "Well, the history changed the way I looked at change. From losing something to gaining something. And it showed me how to do it. After that, things quickly improved at work and in my life. At first, I was annoyed with the obvious simplicity of the history, because it sounded like something we might have been told in school. Then I realized I was really annoyed with myself for not seeing the obvious and doing what works when things change. When I realized the 4 characters in the story represented the various parts of myself, I decided who I wanted to act like, and I changed. Later, I passed the story on to some people in our company, and they passed it on to others. And soon, our business did much better, because most of us adapted to change better. And like me, many people said it helped them in their personal lives. However, there were a few people who said they got nothing out of it. They either knew the lessons and were already living them, or more commonly, they thought they already knew everything and didn't want to learn. They couldn't see why so many others were benefiting from it. When one of our senior executives who was having difficulty adapting said the history was a waste of time, other people kidded him, saying they knew which character he was in the history, meaning the one who learned something new and did not change. What's the history? Angela asked. It's called The group laughed. I think I like it already. Carlos said, will you tell us the history? Maybe we can get something from it. Sure, Michael replied. I will be happy to. It doesn't take long, and so he began. And the rest is for the next chapter together. Closing the book and see you back very soon. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. Namaste and good night. See you back soon. If you would like the second part, yes, give me a sign. Thank you. Bye. Good night and sleep very well. Or good morning, wherever you are. Thank you. Just give me some feedback from where you are watching this. It will be interesting to know. Thank you. Ciao. Big kiss to you all.